Wanted to go over the game that we played yesterday, Knicks versus Bucks. This is Civil Analytics for Knicks fans. And yesterday I wasn't under any illusions that the Knicks were going to win this game, given the way they've been playing basically the whole season, especially the last few weeks. What I want to do is I did see some interesting things in the stats that I wanted to go over. And so I wanted to go over basically overall the reason why we won. I mean, the reason why we lost this game. The players that contributed the most to this game, and the players that basically had the least, or basically the players that basically caused us to lose this game. And so obviously this is the team sport, and so you can't always necessarily blame it on one person. However, there were this was there were some reasons why we lost this game, and one of them basically we lost this game at the free throw line, and so this is something the team has struggled with the whole year. And then the other thing we've been struggling with recently as well is rebounding, being able to close out possessions. And so if you look at this game, we shot 46.24%. The Bucks shot 46.1%. They had 41 field goals. We had 39 field goals. And so it's possible that those extra possessions we gave away by not rebounding well to close out the possession, or by the two extra turnovers we had, because we had 14 turnover where they had 12. So one of those is somewhere along those lines. We gave up some extra possessions for them to get those extra two buckets. And then you couple that with all the free throws that we missed. That's how we lost this game. So at the free throw line, they had 31 attempts. They made 28. We had 28 attempts and we only made 16. So we missed, what was that, 12 free throws that we missed? So let's just go directly to individual players and see how they perform. RJ Barrett, he was very inefficient today, 30% from the field. However, he was aggressive, and that's something you have to like with RJ Barrett. He remains very aggressive as he's game in and game out, especially the last week and a half or so. He's been extremely aggressive, and he's been able to get to the line, so that's a good thing. So as you notice, he only made 6 shots, but he had 23 points. And so, that shows you how aggressive he has been. And so he seems like he has been turning the corner, and it looks like he can be the primary playmaker for this team, given the way he's been playing and how aggressive he's been. Chase Randall, he didn't really have a whole lot going today. 44% from the field, 9 attempts, only 4 made. We did not use him a ton in the second half, trying to make plays for others. We did use him quite a bit in the first half, but not as much in the second half. Mitch Robinson, he was okay on the offensive end. I still wish that we can do a better job finding Mitchell Robinson and abuse these teams for playing small against us, especially when you have a Mitchell Robinson. You have to be able to do that. You got to be able to work on some stuff with them in practice so he can basically use it in these games. Still waiting for that. But however, he was 3 of 3 today, only 6 rebounds. If you notice, against really good teams, he's been struggling rebounding the ball, although he's the biggest person out there on the floor. So that's something we really want to take a look, keep an eye on. Evan Fournier, 10 of 19, 52.6% from the field. He was efficient today, really did a lot for us, 25 points. If we would have won this game, he would have been one of the major reasons why we won this game. And so he did a really good job on the offensive end. Kemba Walker on the offense, he was actually pretty good, didn't hurt us, contributed quite a little bit, only 8 points, 7 assists, 2 turnovers, but he had 7 assists, so it's not too terrible. So he had a pretty solid game. Nerlens Noel was only 1 of 2 from the field, not much of an impact on the offensive end. Alec Burks, not a huge impact either, 3 of 5, 10 points, but at least he didn't hurt us today. Quentin Grimes was 4 of 8. He hit some shots in the first half that helped us a little bit to kind of help us get back into the game. So he had some impactful points early on, but however, he wasn't a huge impact on the offensive end. So then we had Obi Toppin, only 4 attempts, 2 made. Obviously he's extremely flashy. He had a huge highlight play for his second basket of the game. It was a fake handoff and basically went straight down at an angle to the rim, and Bobby Portis didn't want any parts of it. He just skied right over Bobby Portis and just threw it down. So again, he's just a special player, and I really hope the Knicks do keep him. Next thing I want to do is really take a good look at basically who contributed to this win. Well, who would have contributed to the win, who actually had an impact on the game on the defensive end. And if you basically, what this stat is actually, they take a list of all the matchups. They've taken all the matchups throughout the games for the players on the Knicks, and they're basically taking account of how many field goals were taken against each player by whom, and how many was made, and then they basically do a calculation to figure out what the percentage is. So if you take a quick look at this right here, right off the back, you notice Mitchell Robinson had 19 field goals attempts against him. RJ Barrett had 18 against him. So these guys basically had the bulk of the work on a defensive end. And then to make it even better, these guys actually did what they were supposed to do. They did a good job. They made sure like the opponent that they were guarding shot the ball at a very low rate. So Mitchell Robinson was at 36.7%. RJ Barrett was at 39%. I mean, honestly, this is like RJ Barrett has really been taking a step. He's been improving very well on the defensive end, and it's really good to see. The other person is Julius Randle. He had 11 attempts against him. Did a pretty decent job. They shot 36% against him. Giannis actually had 4 attempts against him, and he went 3 of 4 versus Giannis. And so he struggled against Giannis, but he actually shut everyone else down that basically played against him. The biggest problem, the place where we struggled the most, the person who had the biggest trouble was actually Nerlens Noel. So it was mostly, I think he had 8 attempts. There was like 8 attempts from Giannis. I think Giannis may have won either 6 of 8 against him, or maybe 7 of 9. And then he also had a little struggle with Bobby Portis as well. And so this is where we really struggled. This is where we lost the game on the defensive end. It was really with Nerlens Noel. He really struggled in this game against Giannis. And so other notable defensive performances was actually Obi Toppin. There were 7 attempts against him. He only allowed 2 field goals made, and so it was 28%. And so if you look at it on the defensive end, I think the guys that had a positive impact on the team on the defensive end was Mitchell Robinson, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Obi Toppin. And so the rest of the players, they kind of struggled. We want these rates. This percentage needs to be below 45%. And so anyone here that's above 45% was actually a negative, had a negative impact on our team and on the game. And so Evan Fournier 50%, although there was only 6 attempts against him. Of course, we had Nerlens Noel, which was 10. His man shot 70%. This is 45%, so it's not too terrible, but we would like it to be below 45%. And so this is Alec Burks, 11 attempts, but it wasn't too horrible either. Quentin Grimes, 7 attempts. His man shot 57% against him, not very good. And Emmanuel Quickly, 50% from the man he was guarding. And so this is pretty much what I have, guys. Let me know what you think. Who do you think contributed to this loss? What do you think we could have done differently? What could have the coach done differently with the lineups to help with this game? Comment below. I'll be more than happy to respond, like, and subscribe as well. Thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you soon.